Hello everyone, I'm Prashanta and today I'll be talking about a particular scam in Sydney where a lady was scammed out of her entire life savings. So her life savings amounted to roughly 50,000 Australian dollars and she's very heartbroken, of course, and the banks unfortunately are refusing to help her. So I'd like to present the video first, which was a Channel 9 news report. So I've grabbed a screen recording of the news report, and then I will present my analysis of how the scammers perpetrated the scam. So normally this lady is a very careful lady, and I'm sure that um, from what my interactions have been with various people, they seem very confident that in their abilities to detect a scam. So I'm not trying to discourage you, I'm not trying to lower your confidence, but it's very important to face reality. And the reality is that these scammers are increasingly getting more and more sophisticated, which means that it's going to be increasingly difficult for you to successfully identify a scam. So I think that it's very important that we share our knowledge with our friends and family, and that way, that is, I think, the best protection against these scammers because the more information that we have at our disposal, the easier it will become for an individual to recognize these scammers, right? And then possibly, I'm not saying this like this does not have to be done, but I am one of those people who would like to see a kind of almost like a helpline, if you will, where and it does not have to be a telephone line or thereabouts, but I'm happy for it just to be like an online forum or even a WhatsApp group, which I already kind of have, thanks to my wonderful friends. So where we post messages, where we ask for help, etc. So that can be something that can be done to help people with not as much knowledge about these things. So without further ado, I'd like to first present the video, and then I can provide like a breakdown of what went wrong, why things went wrong, and in my opinion, what she could have done to stop the scam. All right, let's have a look at the video and then we'll come back.
Sunny watched in horror as her life savings disappeared before her eyes. All her hard work and sacrifice gone in just 30 minutes.
We've reached a point that scams are so sophisticated that an individual customer cannot protect themselves against a scam.
How is anyone to know that's a scam?
Exactly, that's why my guard was down and I just thought it was HSBC.
Sunny One is trying to come to terms with the fact she's lost her life savings.
I've cried so much already, like the last 2 days. I went to the office yesterday and I just couldn't function.
Caught out by sophisticated scammers, but her bank claims it's not their fault.
I've just lost my whole savings and the guy was just like, say, all the best.
It was Friday night 2 weeks ago when Sunny received a text from her bank, HSBC. It alerted her to a new device logging into her account.
Because that came from HSBC number, I didn't really think and I just clicked on that number and called that number.
She quoted the reference number from the text message, the scammer then telling her a phone in Perth had logged into her account.
And then he goes, well, there's been another device that's been logged in, the Samsung S8 phone. And then I coincidentally did lose an S8 phone a few years ago.
Sunny panicked, thinking someone had her old phone and had access to her account.
He said that he needs to go through the verification process to ensure that it is me, as all HSBC or any bank representatives do.
Sunny gave them her full name, address and date of birth. Then the scammer asked her to generate a one-time passcode on her own phone for security reasons.
I generated, I gave that number to him, and then I received a text message saying a device has been removed from my account, which is from the HSBC number again.
Sunny thought she'd just saved herself from financial disaster, but all that information was everything the scammers needed to clean her out.
And then he said there's been some unusual activities, and he put me on hold quite a while.
When the scammer finally took her off hold, he started to ask about Sunny's cryptocurrency account too, saying it had been compromised, and that rung alarm bells.
I find it like clicked to me, why would HSBC be concerned about my CoinSpot and they wouldn't pass my details to a representative? They would tell me to call CoinSpot directly.
Sunny immediately hung up and called HSBC. She asked staff to freeze her account, but it was too late. The next morning at a HSBC branch, her worst fears confirmed.
It was like basically my whole savings, like 49,900, 50,000. So I should have.
Scammers had managed to spoof the HSBC number, sending the fake message in the same thread as more than a year's worth of legitimate messages from the bank. Sunny's big mistake, calling the phone number sent to her.
I was aware not to click on links and emails or attachments and things like that. I'm usually on guard, but because I think the text message came from the HSBC number, I let my guard down.
It's not the first time the sophisticated scam has caught people out.
Okay, guys, we're back. So I trust that you watched the video. It's indeed a sad state of affairs. What the lady should have done, in my opinion, was the channel of communication, which is SMS, is not a secure channel that has already been recognized. So the one-time password that was talked about, like in the video, it was said that scammers asked her to generate a password and send them, which is normally like a one-time password thing, right? So the whole reason why the we call it like a TOTP, which is time-based one-time password thing. So the whole reason why they came into existence was because SMS was not regarded as secure. So the very first step to do is that recognize that SMS is not a secure channel. So that's the very first step to recognize. The second step would be an extension of that. Therefore, if you cannot rely on an SMS, then you cannot rely on a phone call as well. Just because it's coming from a number that looks to be the same as your bank's number does not mean that it is your bank who is calling you. So once again, you have to get the basics right first, right? Because if an SMS cannot be regarded as secure, that means that a phone call cannot be regarded as secure either. So that's the very first step, that you need to recognize both are not secure means of communication. So then where does that leave the consumer, right? So, and then once again, like, email, oh my God, email is even worse. So I'm sure that you guys are already aware that email is not a secure means of communication either. Though with email, with the advent of DKIM and DMARC, etc., which are like means of verification of the sender of the email, I would argue that email might actually be a bit more secure because if, let's say, if you're using Gmail, and when Google does the lookups, when Google tries to verify that the sender, let's say an email comes from nab.com.au or whatever, and then when Google tries to verify whether or not that email originated from NAB's email servers, um, it has like a bunch of techie stuff that it does. Like, it runs multiple tests. So if even one of those tests fail, that's going into your spam folder. That's not reaching your inbox. So therefore, it seems almost like an email would be considered a more secure means of communication, because I do not see any such safeguards in place for SMS, right? It's just like security by obscurity, which means that people just assume that it's obscure enough, that it's difficult enough for a member of the general public to do. Therefore, they're relying on that factor, like the difficulty of performing the task, to be the security thing itself, which is once again, which is not a good model, right? So, but then, like, coming back to my earlier point, which is we cannot regard emails as completely safe either, right? Because phishing attacks happen all the time, and the most common method of propagation of a phishing attack is via emails. So once again, so SMSs are not secure, emails are not secure, phone calls are not secure. Then what is secure, right? So for the end user or for the consumer or for an individual, we are pretty much screwed because, and this is once again the reason why I like to reiterate the fact that we need to band together. There has to be information sharing. Otherwise, we are pretty much screwed because those big companies that run the IT infrastructure, that run your services, they have huge amounts of resources at their disposal. Whereas, like, if you compare that with an individual, the individual has basically nothing, no resources, right? And we just saw in the Sydney lady's case, like, in my opinion, the bank should be liable because it's it's originating from their number. So if the customer is held liable to make sure that their account is secure, then the banks should be held liable when their phone numbers are used to perpetrate scams. That makes sense, right? But is that going to happen? In this case, probably not, because that lady is alone. And this is once again the reason why I reiterate that we need to band together, right? So we need to come together and form like groups or like consumer groups or whatever so that we can pressure these guys to do the right thing, right? But then that's going off into a tangent. So coming back to my analysis of the interaction, so the very first step there was to recognize that SMS was not a secure means of communication, which I'm sure that the lady did not understand fully. And once again, I'm really sorry, friends. It might I might seem like a jerk. I might seem like a know-it-all, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you people don't understand that SMS is not a secure communication channel. I'm pretty sure of this. So that's the very first step to understand that you cannot absolutely trust SMS. No, you cannot trust it at all. Like, it's very easy to spoof, etc., right? So where does that leave the customer or consumer, right? So the best thing that you can do is you just like walk into a branch, you talk to someone, or you go on Google and then you search for, like, let's say NAB's phone number, right? And then you save that onto your phone. And whenever you receive a phone call claiming to be from NAB, what you do is you ask for the name, you ask for the department, or if they have an extension number, you just ask for, hey, do you have an extension number? I can just call you right back, and then just call them right back using the phone number that you already have. Don't trust any information that they give you, right? Because otherwise, how do you know that they are from where they are claiming to be? And I can give you an example of this. I have not investigated this to its conclusion, but I received a phone call from a lady claiming to be from NAB. And judging from the amount of information that she could tell me, I am guessing that it was a legitimate call. But then it's, as I don't trust her. Right? That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, even though it did look like she was from NAB because she was able to tell me my account numbers, etc., etc. Um, I still don't trust her because phones, I cannot rely on a phone call alone, right? And this is the type of like suspicion that you have to have, unfortunately, in this day and age, in order to be safe from scammers, right? Of course, I'm not going to be 100% foolproof either. Like, one day or the other, I might fall victim to a scam. Who knows? But I hope not. I sincerely hope not. But anyway, moving on. So that lady called me, and then she told me that, oh, now I am a premium customer of NAB, blah blah blah, whatever. And then like she gave me a phone number, so that phone number was a special phone number that only premium customers get, right? So I've never called that number because, like, I honestly, the only way that I'm ever going to call that number is I'm going to go into a branch. I'm going to ask whoever is there, like, hey, is this a valid number? Is this your number? Blah blah blah, and then I'm just going to call that number right in front of them, etc. And then only once I verify that number, then only I'm going to save it and I'm going to start calling it, right? So that's the very first mistake that this lady made, which is to trust that SMS can be a secure means of communication. So yeah, so just get that into your heads. Um, Email is not secure, SMS is not secure, phone calls are not secure. So what's left, right? So you think snail mail, right? So letters. But then once again, like letters are not secure either, like they're because someone could very easily fake letterhead. They could very easily grab their hands on an envelope and then like just do the do the thing. And scams used to be done via letters before the electronic age. Not sure if you guys have heard of it, but my friends from Daran used to tell me that there used to be like necklace scams that were run via letters, right? So anyway, so yeah, so once again, like it all boils down to what do we have left? Like what form of communication is secure, right? So I guess like none of the channels are secure, right? So there's a saying in security: if you want to, if you want your computer to be 100% secure, turn it off, right? That's the only way that it's going to be 100% secure. That's saying in security. Um, but again, like no channel is secure. None. There's no communication channel that is 100% safe, right? So what to do in such a scenario. So the best thing that you can do is basically what we're trying to do is we're not trying to achieve 100% safety, right? Because I don't think that practically we need to do that. We just want someone to be liable, right? So if let's say if I get victimized by someone, right, by a scam or whatever, what I would want is that for the financial institution that I'm associated with, for them to take responsibility to reimburse me. If I can achieve that, I'd consider that safe, right? So I mean, even if I do get scammed, I'll get all of my money returned anyway. So it's like it's gonna be a little bit of hassle for me, but at least like I'm not financially down or anything, right? So I would argue that that's the goal. No communication channel is secure. Please don't trust anyone, right? So the only one you trust is yourself, and you just go physically into the branch, or you just go on Google and grab the financial institution's main number, and yeah, and then you take it from there. And then whatever you do, just make sure that you can hold your banking institution liable for anything that happens, right? So yeah, so that's the best thing that you can do. So in such a case, like if you receive a text or an email or even a phone call, don't trust them. Like never ever click on any links. I'm sure that everyone is aware of that right now. Like don't download documents, don't download attachments, don't click on links, etc. But then don't call phone numbers, don't reply to text that you don't recognize, etc., etc. Right? So if you receive such text as this lady received, then you just like yeah, you just call the number that you know for 100% certainty, like that number is associated with your financial institution, right? So that would be the thing to do. And the lady made another blunder, which is she generated an OTP, and then she told the person on the other line, right? So that was, in my opinion, that was a big blunder, because that is something that OTP originated on her phone. Like it's not like a code that the bank sends, which would originate on their servers. Therefore, it's logical for them to ask you to verify the code to prove that you are who you say you are, right? But then if the code itself is originating from the customer's end, yeah, that does not make any sense at all for the bank to ask for it, right? So never give your password out, never give your one-time passwords out, etc., etc. Yeah, so I could go on, but I think I've made the point clear that never trust any type of communication channels. Just distrust them, and even if you receive a phone call, and even if it seems like it's coming from the number of your financial institution, because I've watched the series, right? So I watched this. I cannot remember where I watched it, but what they did was they faked the number. So like they made a phone call, and these days, like using AI, you can, like, you can generate anyone's voice. That's just crazy. AI. That's another, like, tangent, but yeah. So they used AI to mimic that person's voice, and then they use their softwares to fake the phone number of the person, and then they called this guy pretending to be that other person, and that guy was totally fooled. So once again, like, if anyone is asking for anything sensitive, once again, I'm going to reiterate the fact that no communication channel is secure. Don't trust phones, don't trust SMSs, don't trust emails, don't trust letters, never trust any communication channel. So what should you do if your wife calls you, your own wife? You look at the number, like your phone is ringing, it says whatever, like whatever your wife's name is, XYZ. So you look at the phone, it's XYZ is calling, which is your wife. Pick up the phone, it's her voice. It is her voice, and then she asks you, "Hey, I forgot the PIN code of our whatever credit card, whatever, or what's the PIN code, right?" So if you want to get paranoid, and I do recommend that you do become paranoid in this day and age, you tell her, "Hey, can I just quickly call you back? I'm in the middle of something. Just give me 1 minute. I'll call you right back." You cut the phone, you call your wife immediately, and there you go. That's how you handle things, because these days you cannot even trust a phone call, right? So yeah, that's that is my 2 cents. Apologies, this video has become quite long. I did not mean for it to be this long, but I had no idea. This is the first time that I'm doing such a video. So yeah, once again, apologies for the length. I hope that this is useful in some way or the other. Um, yeah, until next time, and please do leave feedback, constructive feedback. I am hoping, right, so that, yeah, I can make better videos, etc. All right, cheers, bye.